Welcome back. Well, the cues are quite positive. Most of the Asian markets are up and about, and we're expecting that positivity to rub off on our market as well. The implied open, as you can see, is showing that we'll probably get a 40-point gap up. So what about individual stocks? Well, for that, our team is standing by with the CNBC-TV18 list of top stocks to watch. Guys, good morning and happy Friday to all of you. What else but Accenture to kick things off, Hormaz. So what's the read-through for large IT services companies?
It does look to be a happy Friday for a lot of these IT companies indeed after these Accenture results that came out last evening. And there would be some positive rub-off on these stocks as well. Now, the results, well, $16.4 billion of revenue in US dollar terms was up 3%. In constant currency, in local currency terms was up 5%. Now, last quarter, they had given a 1.5 to 2.5% guidance for FY24. They have ended the year with 2%. So, it's the midpoint of the guidance range that they have given. Now, for FY25, they're expecting, for the first quarter, they expect revenue growth to be in the 2 to 6% range. For the full year, they expect it to be in a 3 to 6% range. And in that, they are expecting a positive forex impact of 1.5% that would contribute to the revenue growth as well for the quarter and for the year as well. So on both parameters, they're expecting a 1.5% positive impact, and they're expecting to return around $8.5 billion in cash back to investors in terms of buyback. They've also announced a $4 billion buyback as well. Now, during the earnings call, the management gave some positive commentary as well. There's a clear signs of demand that are emerging, that more clients are moving from proof of concept to larger implementation stage, and that is why they're expecting another healthy increase in bookings for the full year as well. Now, as a result of this, the IT stocks listed in the US had a positive impact as well. The Infosys ADR was up almost 2%, as was the Wipro ADR. So expecting a positive read-through for the IT stocks this morning.
Thanks a lot for that, Hormaz. Well, let's hop across to Nimesh. He's here to tell us about Nuvama Wealth, and he's been telling us there's likely to be a large trade. Nimesh, bang on. Tell us more.
Well, Angelina, so it's official now. Edelweiss is going to sell 6.5% stake in Nuvama via block deal today. The book was launched last evening. The floor price is 5% discount to yesterday's closing price. So need to see how it's get executed. It's definitely positive for Edelweiss because they unlock the value in Nuvama. Remember, they own close to 13.5% stake, and they're selling 6.5%. So the remaining stake, they allow a 75-day lockup as well. So they can't sell for another 75 days. But it's definitely a value unlocking for Edelweiss. So that would be in green. Execution on Nuvama will be important. If it's happened in the block window, then even Nuvama should react in the green because that would suggest there is a strong demand. But important deal for Edelweiss because it's value unlocking, and they will sell 6.5% stake by block deal today.
All right, let's just, Nimesh, of course, has been telling us about this, that it will happen. Let's just look at the Edelweiss stock as well, because that has done very well. The money comes into Edelweiss, and, that's a large amount of cash which the company will suddenly have. 135, 136 or so is where it finally left off yesterday. All right, well, the other one which Nimesh has been reporting on is Prataap Snacks. Nimesh, it's happening. Go on.
Well, finally, the deal is announced officially. There was a speculation for a while now that ultimately the PE investor will exit. So late last night there was an announcement that Autumn Investment and Madhukela combined will buy out the entire 46% stake from the private equity investor, which is Sequoia Capital, and they will announce an open offer as well. So they're buying the 46% for a little less than 800 rupees per share, but the open offer is at 846 rupees per share, which means a close to 18% discount to yesterday's closing price. But we saw a big surge in the stock price yesterday. Stock was at 20% upper circuit. So I guess the market had a bit of an inclination on this deal coming through. But now it's official that the PE is exiting, and Madhukela and Autumn Investment will buy out the entire PE stake and make an open offer as well.
Oh, yes, absolutely. We noted this yesterday in closing bell, and you had flagged it off. So kudos to you, Nimesh. In fact, there was a rub-off maybe of this deal on a lot of the other peer stocks as well. Yesterday, Gopal, Bikaji, all these stocks were flying around, maybe on some sort of sense of what could be happening with Prataap. So, yeah, there's a pretty big move yesterday on these names. We'll watch out for them. Thanks for that. Let's get to Vinny. She's watching out for a couple of stocks as well. Vinny, over to you.
Good morning. Two stocks I'm keeping an eye out on the back of order wins. First one is RailTel. They've received an order from Rural Development Department, that's Mantralaya. For the state of Maharashtra, there's a project that will be happening across Konkan, Pune, as well as Nasik region. The order value is 155 crores. So positive move that one could expect in RailTel. And similarly for RITES, they have also emerged as a L1 bidder. The consortium and a JV that they have, that has emerged as an L1 bidder. This is for the tender of Delhi Metro Rail. The overall value of this is at around 87 37 crores, while in the JV, RITES has 49%, so their value would be 43 crores approximately. Keeping an eye out on both these stocks, expected to be in the green.
Okay, all right. Thanks a lot, Vinny, for all those stocks and news. Well, let's go across to Sonal. She's here to tell us about a couple of more stocks, BASF and Marksons, I understand. Sonal?
Good morning, Nigel. Talking about BASF and Thangamel Jewelry, let's start with BASF because they have spoken about portfolio allocation, the Germany parent that is, and they are talking about capital allocation and portfolio steering as well. They will explore overall strategic options for value creation of their coatings business. Now, do remember for the India business, the coatings business will already be transferred to a subsidiary which will be called BASF India Coatings Private Limited by end of 2024. The Germany parent is also considering an IPO of its global agricultural solutions business, and the relevance for the same for the BASF India business is something that the management is still assessing. So this is something that they will update the exchanges with. The other stock is Thangamel Jewelry because the board has approved a fundraise of around 600 crore rupees via rights issue. Now remember, stock is already at a record high. The market capitalization is at 6,400 crore rupees. The stock is up 21% in last 1 month and up 87% in last 6 months itself. The future triggers, of course, are festive season ahead, gold at record high. So a lot of things working for the stock. But yes, this is the news that has come by in terms of fundraise.
No, absolutely. And, we'll keep an eye out on this one. Vamakshi is now, okay, I think Vamakshi is now joining us with SBI Card, which should be in focus. Vamakshi, hi, morning.
Well, good morning, Prashant. Yes, SBI cards in focus today. The credit card data for the month of August came through, and the share of industry card spending for SBI card rose to almost 15.7% by almost 18 basis points month on month. But this is much below as compared to the last year's level of almost 18%. In August, for the entire industry, credit card monthly spending growth moderated to 13% YOY. This was somewhere around 19% in the month of July. For SBI cards specifically, the spending fell to almost 3% in the month of August as compared to 3.5% that we saw in the month of July. And this in turn reflects continued impact of RBI's notification on corporate card spending. So not such a good update coming in from SBI cards, especially in terms of the spends. Morgan Stanley too has an equal weight call on the company, target price of 745 per share. So overall going with the red for SBI card.
Okay, got it. Vamakshi, thank you very much for that. And now it's over to Vivek for some of the block deal, but some of the major ones that we saw yesterday. Vivek?
That's right. Keep an eye out on two names, Five Star Finance. Remember yesterday, as per the term sheet, close to 20% of equity was expected to change hands, but the actual size, that did go through was a little lower than that. So almost 12 to 13% is what has actually been sold. Who are the selling shareholders? Like we reported, it's the PE investors that have sold. So TPG Asia, Sequoia, two funds have actually paired stake in the company. Who are the buyers? The whole list of buyers, some of the key buyers included Nomura funds, Max Life Insurance, SBI Life Insurance, as well as a few Morgan Stanley funds. Also keep an eye out for Gulf Oil Lubricants. The promoter, Gulf Oil International, sold close to 4.2% stake in the company at 1,352 rupees a share. Remember, they held close to 72% stake in the company at the end of Q1. Who are the key buyers over here? Again, ITI Mutual Fund, Aditya Birla Sun Life Insurance Company were some of the buyers in yesterday's block deal.
Okay, all right, got it. Vivek, thank you very much for that. And with that, let's quickly recap our list of stocks to watch this morning. The ones that have positive news flow around them are, of course, all the IT names, thanks to Accenture's good read-through. There's Prataap Snacks, RailTel, RITES, BASF, and Thangamel Jewelry. Stocks with negative news flow around them would be Nuvama Wealth, Five Star Finance, and Gulf Oil Lubricants. These three on the back of block trades. And then there is also SBI Card.
All right, well, let's focus on the segment that's been buzzing around. The commodity space has been doing very, very well. That's, the entire space, but ex of crude oil prices. Manisha joins us to help us out with a complete wind down of what went on overnight. Morning, Manisha.
Morning, Nigel. Thank you for that. Well, yes, the crude oil prices fell 2% overnight from a high of $75 in this week. We are holding above 71 right now. Well, Saudi Arabia is dropping oil price targets to hike output, and that's weighed on. And then Libya also is working to restore crude exports. And these couple of factors led to the profit taking. But it continues to be all-time highs for gold. 2685 is a new all-time high. The Fed fund futures now indicate a 67% probability of a 50 basis point rate cut in the month of November. And the markets, of course, will watch out for the US PCE report in focus today, and that will tell you on how the weekend is. Metals as a sector also continues to buzz. China perhaps will be rolling out more stimulus measures. China is considering 1 trillion yuan capital injection into state banks to boost economic activity. And that news clearly seems to be keeping all metals on a firmer side.
All right, Manisha, thank you very much for that. We'll take a quick commercial break here. We're going to come back. Hemang Jani will be with us on the other side. Stay with us.